Welcome to Style and Confidence, where transformative coaching meets personal styling for business success. I'm your host, Claire Silk, a transformative life coach and a personal stylist, passionate about helping women like you align your inner worth with your outer expression. Each week, we explore how to build lasting confidence from the inside out, so you can show up as your most authentic, empowered self. Whether you're looking to break through limiting beliefs, build authentic confidence and a winning mindset, or create a wardrobe that truly empowers you, you are in the right place. Get ready to transform your relationship with both your mind and your style. Hello and welcome back to the podcast. I'm Claire Silk and I'm so glad that you're here today. So we're in mid-January now, and this week started with Blue Monday. Often the fresh start energy of early January starts to settle about now, and the excitement of new possibilities meets the reality of actually making things happen. For a lot of people, this is where the gap appears, me included. In leadership, after the visioning phase, we need to move into the mobilising phase, where we take action. It depends upon your leadership style, but I'm definitely better at the visioning part than the mobilising part. This year, with that in mind, I made action my word for the year. What happens around now is that we end up with a gap between intention and action, between knowing what you want and actually doing something about it. A gap is created between the clarity of your big ambitious dreams and the confidence to take the bold action that you want to and the need to in order to realise these goals. Today, I want to talk about how to bridge that gap in a way that actually feels good, not forced, not uncomfortable, too much anyway, but genuinely aligned to you and your values. There is a world of difference between taking action from fear and taking action from confidence. Both require the same amount of energy, and there's a difference between doing things because you think you should and doing things because they feel aligned with who you are. So in this episode, I'm going to explore what I mean by aligned action, how to know when your next step is coming from the right place, and how small, confident steps create the kind of transformation that actually lasts. I'll share some reflections from my own journey, talk about the patterns I've noticed in women who create sustainable momentum, and of course give you something practical that you can use right away. Building a business is hard. I've always been really ambitious and driven, and I'm full of ideas. Alongside this, when you start a business, there seems to be a never-ending to-do list of things you need to and should do. We're told we need to launch a new program, create passive income, build an email list, launch a group program, be visible on social media, be more visible, create more content, network more, do more, be more, achieve more. It's overwhelming and it's heavy. It is so hard to avoid comparison and not feel like you're behind. It's very easy to slip into a feeling of failing because you haven't reached a certain milestone, whether it's income, number of followers, number of clients, etc., etc. When I first started and I told a few people what I was doing, people kept asking me if I had a client yet. They meant well, but the more time that passed, with me saying, not yet, the more I felt like I was failing. But I'd only just started. I knew I needed to take massive action, but this was now coming from a place of fear, not confidence, and definitely not because it felt aligned with who I was and where I was going. I was full of fear that I wasn't doing enough, fear that I was behind, fear that if I didn't hustle harder and work more, that I wouldn't make it. I couldn't see the progress I was making. I only saw the measures that other people were putting in place for me. If I knew then what I know now, I would have stopped to ask myself, what would I do if I trusted that I was already enough and at the exact right stage I needed to be? What action would I take aligned with that confidence? The answer would have been completely different, and the prospect of taking massive action would have felt different. Instead of launching new programs and creating new resources and constantly trying new directions because I thought I should, and because I thought that what I was doing wasn't working, I'd have stayed focused. I'd have added depth to the programs I already had and reminded myself of the parts I loved and, of course, of the reason why I was doing all of this in the first place. My why. Instead of doing more, I would do what mattered, what felt aligned, what came from confidence rather than fear. The quality of your actions matters so much more than the quantity. You can take 100 steps from fear and end up spinning, exhausted, scattered, and no closer to what you actually want. Or you can take 10 steps from confidence and create real, sustainable momentum that comes from a place of knowing towards what genuinely matters to you. So what's the difference between action from fear and action from confidence? Action from fear says, I have to do this or I'll fall behind. Action from confidence says, I'm choosing this because it aligns with who I am and what I want to create. Action from fear is driven by should. As a coach, I am always on the lookout for the word should. Thinking things like, you should post every day, you should be more visible, you should be doing what Lisa, the woman who has been in business for 10 years longer, is doing. Action from confidence is driven by alignment. When you can think, this feels true to me, this honours my energy, this serves my vision, moves me one step closer. Action from fear depletes you. Even when you're being productive, you feel exhausted because you're running on anxiety, not on genuine energy, and it is draining. Action from confidence actually has the opposite effect, and it energizes you. Even when the work is challenging, you still feel engaged because you're moving towards something that matters to you, and that feels exciting. I can have 3 coaching calls back to back and finish feeling on top of the world. It is so elating because I absolutely love it. Action from fear creates scattered momentum. You're doing a lot, but you're not sure if any of it is actually moving you forwards. You might see this as starting lots of different tasks or projects and having so much going on, but not really completing anything. Action from confidence, on the other hand, creates sustainable momentum. Each step builds upon the last because they're all aligned with the same vision and all moving you forwards towards your goal. Women who create real lasting momentum in their businesses and in their lives seem to me to do these 5 things. First, they get clear on what actually matters to them before they take action. Rather than just doing things because they think they are supposed to lead to success, they get clear on what success actually means to them, and then they take action from that clarity. This is absolutely the foundation, because without clarity, you're just busy, doing lots of busy work. But with clarity, your action has direction, it is effective, and it really does move you forward. Second, they take smaller steps, more consistently, rather than massive leaps sporadically. As ever, consistency is the key to success in anything. There is a culture of celebrating the big, bold moves, dramatic transformations, and overnight successes at the moment. But this isn't real. Sustainable momentum rarely looks like that. What it does look like is small, aligned steps, taken consistently over time. It looks like choosing to show up in ways that feel good, day after day. It looks like building gradually, rather than burning out spectacularly. That's not to say that you don't have to work hard, but like this, the hard work feels different, and it doesn't completely drain you. Third, they check in with themselves regularly to make sure that their vision still feels aligned. They don't just set a plan in January and follow it blindly for 12 months, or forget what it even was. They stay connected to themselves. They notice when something that felt aligned 3 months ago now doesn't. And they give themselves permission to adjust when necessary. I was reminded of this yesterday with a business accountability group I'm in. Before Christmas, we spent time strategizing our plans for this year. We created goals broken down by quarter and then actions to take towards our goals by month. I was able to see that, as ever, I had been far too ambitious with my time. But simultaneously, I realised I needed better time management, and I saw that some of my actions across the months were actually just another way of writing the same thing. Checking back in allowed me this reflection and gave me the opportunity to revise my January actions and check my goals were still right for me. Aligned action isn't static. As you grow and evolve, what feels aligned will shift, and that's okay. We're human, we change, it's just what we do. Fourth, these women prioritise presence over productivity. They'd rather do 3 things with full presence and genuine energy than 10 things whilst feeling scattered and depleted, not really giving any of them their all. I know when I have moments of trying to juggle all the plates that I just end up feeling like I'm doing everything badly. Prioritising can be really challenging, especially sometimes when you can't see the wood for the trees, but it is necessary. Women who build lasting momentum understand that the quality of their presence matters more than the quantity of their output. It's all about impact. And finally, fifth, they trust their knowing. Even when everyone else is doing something different, even when the experts say they should be taking different action, They trust that they know what's right for them. This reminds me of a quote. I can't remember who by though. When all around you lose their heads, keep yours. That's confidence. Not certainty about the outcome, but trust in yourself and your intuition. So now let's look about how we know if our next step is aligned. This is where I sometimes get stuck, and I think also where so many people get stuck. They have clarity, they know what they want, but they're just not sure if the action they're about to take is coming from the right place. How do you know? So here are some questions that we can ask before taking any significant action. Number 1, am I doing this because I think I should, or because it genuinely feels aligned? This is the big one and requires brutal honesty. Give it some thought though, as it can be hard to catch ourselves when we're deeply immersed in the noise around us. Because sometimes what we think is aligned is actually just what we think we should do, dressed up in a different language. So find a quiet place, be honest with yourself, and notice, does this action feel like it's coming from obligation or from genuine alignment? Just notice what comes up, without judgment. Question 2. When I imagine taking this action, do I feel expansive or contracted? Your body knows the difference between aligned action and fearful action before your mind does. Aligned action, even when it's challenging or scary, creates a sense of expansion, of opening and possibility. Fearful action creates contraction and tension, a tightness often felt in your chest and your stomach, a sense of forcing something. So check in with your body and listen to it. What do you feel? 3. Is this action honouring my energy, or am I trying to push through depletion? There's a difference between doing hard things from a place of energy, when you know deep down it's the right thing, and trying to force yourself to do things that you don't really want to, when you're already depleted. Aligned action honours where you are and works with your energy, not against it. Question 4. Does this action move me towards my vision or towards someone else's version of success? I've talked about defining success on your own terms, but it is easy to slip back into pursuing somebody else's version without even realising it. So check, whose vision am I chasing with this action? Mine or someone else's? Question 5. Am I taking this action from confidence in who I am or from fear of not being enough? If you strip away the fear of failure, of falling behind and of not being enough, would you still take this action? If the answer is yes, it's probably aligned. If the answer is no, it's probably fear-driven. Real sustainable momentum doesn't come from doing more, taking gigantic steps or pushing through something that drains you. It comes from doing what matters, taking consistent aligned steps, honouring your energy and working with it. It definitely doesn't come from action driven by fear, but from action that is rooted in confidence, in the deep knowing that you are already enough, and you are choosing to create from that place. That's how you bridge the gap between clarity and confidence. Not crazy, scary, massive action, but by aligned action. Small steps, consistent steps. Steps that feel good and honour who you are and where you're going. That's what creates the kind of transformation that actually lasts. So now it's time for your action. This week, I want you to identify one aligned action that you can take. Just one. Not the biggest or most impressive action. Spend time thinking of what the most aligned action would be. Here's how. Step 1. Get clear on your vision. What are you actually trying to create right now? Not in 5 years, not your big goal. Today, right now, your immediate next step. What matters most to you in this season of your life and your work? Write it down and be specific and detailed. This is your North Star. Step 2. Look at what you're currently doing or planning to do. What actions are on your list? What are you working on? What are you considering doing next? Write it all down. Step 3. Run each action through the alignment questions. For each action, ask yourself, am I doing this because I think I should or because it genuinely feels aligned? When I imagine taking this action, do I feel free or squashed? Is this honouring my energy, or am I trying to push through something? Does this move me towards my vision or towards someone else's? Am I taking this from confidence or from fear? Be honest with yourself. Step 4, choose one aligned action. Based on your answers, what is one action that genuinely does feel aligned, that makes you feel free and excited, that feels like it's true to you? Make sure it's something that moves you towards your vision and that comes from confidence rather than fear. Choose that one. Step 5. Take that action this week. Not 10 actions, not everything on your list. I know it's easy to get carried away with your ambitions, but just the one aligned action. As a coach, I spend a lot of time noticing. So I want you to spend some time noticing too. Notice how it feels. Notice the quality of your energy. Notice whether it creates momentum that feels sustainable or momentum that feels like it might be hard to keep up. Because that's how you learn to distinguish between action from fear and action from confidence. Not by thinking about it, but by feeling. It's a deep knowing, trusting your intuition. So remember, you don't need to take massive, makes you feel slightly queasy action to create meaningful momentum. You just need to take aligned action, consistently, with presence from confidence. Small aligned steps create more lasting transformation than great big fear-driven leaps ever could. So start small, stay aligned, and trust that when you're taking action from confidence rather than from fear, you are building something that will actually last. So, as we reach the end of today's episode, let's recap what we've talked about. There's a fundamental difference between taking action from fear and taking action from confidence. Fear-driven action leaves you feeling depleted and creates a scattered momentum. Confidence-based action energizes you and creates sustainable momentum that feels good. Women who create lasting momentum get clear before they act, take smaller steps consistently, check in regularly to ensure alignment, and prioritize presence over productivity. And they trust their own knowing. To know if your next step is aligned, ask yourself, is this a should or is it genuinely aligned? Do I feel expansive or squashed? Am I honouring my energy or pushing through something draining? Whose vision is this? Am I acting from confidence or from fear? Your action for this week is to identify one aligned action using the 5-step process I took you through, and take that one action with full presence and confidence. Real momentum doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing what matters to you, from a place of alignment and confidence. Thank you so much for being here with me today. If this resonated with you, I would love to hear from you. Let me know the aligned action that you're taking this week. Send me a message on Instagram or email me. And if you're ready to step into action that feels aligned from the inside out, I'm hosting a free masterclass to help you understand how to use colour in your clothes strategically to express who you truly are. Join me on the 27th of January at 1 p.m. for The Quiet Power of Colour, how it influences your confidence and personal brand. I will leave the link in the show notes for you to register, and a replay will be available for everyone who does register. I'll see you next week. Thank you for listening to Style and Confidence, where style meets confidence for business success. If you have enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend, rate, review, and subscribe so you never miss out on our weekly confidence-building conversations. You can also connect with me over on LinkedIn as Claire Silk or on Instagram at Silk Style and Confidence for more style and mindset tips. Until next time, remember, true confidence comes from within. Style helps it shine.